I wanted to be a gangster.
I had a good time.
Maybe I'll see you around. Where you been?
Getting interrogated.
Gold bracelet. Get your ass out of my seat before.
What are you in for?
Energy's 8 years.
You'll be out in 5.
There's nothing to handle. He's going back to jail.
We're a family. Dwight,
Thanks for the advice.
Significant flight risk.
I don't even have a pass.
If bail is set at $3 million, you'd be...
Excuse me, hey, get in the man some space. Are you?
And Freddie made bail.
More than people sense a power vacuum. It's about what happened to Pete.
Well, we can't just go around.
Hey, Tyson, how's your old man? Oh, it's talking about we're midnight or we're being followed.
get the sports book up and running. Football.
Salute.
See, the beef is going on.
I simply try to understand. People are very.
How'd you make out in there, Skip? You get any sleep?
What do you think?
Dwight left the Inverness criminal family and formed his own gang in Tulsa with a group of 4 members: Tyson, Mitch, Bobby, and Armand. Their previous consigliere also joined Dwight. Cowlan Waltrip, the insane leader of the biker club Black Macadams, was eliminated by Dwight and his group. Manfredi had reconciled with Christina, his daughter, but in exchange for being given her work back, ATF agent Stacy, with whom Dwight has developed an intermittent connection, handed Dwight over to the federal government. It was clear that Dwight would be released shortly. Inspired by Harlan Thibodeau's conduct of defrauding the government on clean energy subsidies, Dwight makes a new friend in the jail cell while awaiting his trial. In return, by setting an example for a would-be tough man, Dwayne teaches Harlan a few things about surviving in prison. In a different scene, Bobby tells Dwight that the facelift cost a significant sum through insurance when Tyson brings him to Bobby's cannabis shop. Dwight offers Bobby and Jimmy the renewable energy plan, which can give him a reliable source of capital for their marijuana enterprise. Dwight is okay with Mitch inviting his son, Michael, sometimes known as the Bigfoot, to be the crew's hammer. Later, Dwight is being sued by the federal authorities, and when he chooses to confront them, it becomes clear that there is a suspicion that he may attempt to get revenge on Stacy after being granted bail. When Dwight visits Stacy, he tells her how disappointed he is that the people he loves find him so disgusting. Dwight states that he had anticipated that his and Stacy's career would eventually cause them to conflict, and he was fully aware that Stacy had no choice but to comply with the demands made of her by her employers. In the meantime, the Inverness criminal family has begun to face difficulties due to the lack of one of the more powerful couples and its consignee. As funding sources begin to dry up and competing families begin to put pressure on them, Chicky contacts Goody to discuss the current state of affairs and threatens to kill Jerry while they are speaking. After Stacy lives his life, Dwight attempts to restart his romance with Margaret, the wealthy owner of a horse farm. Margaret mentions that industrialist Carl Thresher will be attending a fundraiser. Dwight sees this an opportunity to broaden his business by suggesting that Thresher invest in windmills as a source of renewable energy. Dwight goes to the fundraiser with the intention of starting a new chapter in his life and asks his crew to dress suitably. The encounter begins between Dwight and Thresher, and it goes horribly wrong since it turns out that Thresher is a very territorial, crafty, and spiteful person who isn't ready to put up with an outsider like Dwight. Thresher had complete, unquestionable control over Oklahoma's marijuana supply, but now that Dwight has opened shop in Tulsa, he must share his territory. Without holding back, Thresher expresses his displeasure with Dwight right away. Later, Thresher calls Bill Bevilacqua to let him know about Dwight's increasing power in Tulsa. Everything Thresher wanted to tell him is revealed in a local newspaper's very visible coverage of Manfredi's trial. Bevilacqua, who is also known to be a member of a criminal family in New York, immediately recognizes Manfredi and is shocked to hear that he is in Oklahoma. As the episode draws to a close, Bevilacqua hangs up after promising Thresher to investigate.
It's not good.
Attempted bribery of a federal agent.
Certified health pressure.
Who the fuck is that?
Well, I guess I got a hit, huh?
That's what.
Something a little smaller
I like it.
on the window.
No, I'd be like 20.
You really like it?
Talk to him.
Well, really,
See, this is how people really get fucking hurt.
let's call it an aura.
Are the biggest growers in the state. Man,
Tulsa King Season 2 opens with Tyson informing Dwight that the situation at the motel is heated. Reporters are in dire need of something to eat and the feds are across the street. He can't really stay there for the time being. Tina and Dwight drove off to view a stunning large house. It's about $6,000 a month and Dwight encourages her to spend the money because he thinks it's a wise decision. After Thresher called Bevilacqua, he assigned one of his goons to investigate Dwight's business and the casino. Bevilacqua doesn't like that he's prospering and earning a substantial income, especially since this is his area. In order to let Dwight know who is in charge, he chooses to fire a warning shot. Dwight is so sure of himself that he ends up defending himself in court. He might spend 10 years in prison if found guilty. U.S. Attorney Daylan appears and takes the prosecution's side. Dwight responds that he is a Boy Scout and puts on a tense smile, clearly uncomfortable with this development. However, everything is tightening around Dwight and the Chicky scenario is beginning to flare up. Chicky offers to deal with this and take Dwight out, while Bevilacqua calls and berates him for invading his staff over at Tulsa. Dwight visits her land in jail. Dwight wants to purchase his wind turbines before he is relocated to Illinois. Dwight is a tough negotiator, but Harlan thinks it's worth $12 million. After agreeing to additional perks while incarcerated, he consents to $7.5 million. With a reluctant shake of his head, Harlan takes Dwight directly to the bank to obtain a loan. For apparent reason, they are surprised and flatly decline. Dwight has to deal with Joanne in addition to this and his legal studies. She tells Dwight that this court issue could be difficult to handle and that she will be staying in town for some time. Dwight would likely love to handle everything on his own because there isn't a bargain to be made and he was given 25 years the last time he had a sophisticated lawyer. The salesman is upset when they take all of Donnie's automobile's catalytic converters that evening. This is all a ploy to get Donnie to cooperate. As you can see, Dwight is more than willing to provide security for his property in return for giving his sister and daughter a brand new car. Dwight chooses to return half of the converters to Donnie after he reluctantly agrees. Dwight visits the U.S. attorney in an attempt to reach an agreement. Naturally, we are aware that Thresher is participating in this and Dwight, who is seated across from him at the desk, becomes aware of this as well when he sees the payment on the table. Dwight sensibly chooses to put it on hold for the time being as Daylan affirms that any settlement without jail time is not an option. The fact that media are still crowding the hotel somewhat ruins Dwight's pleasant evening. Tyson determines that Dwight should spend some time at his parents' house after coming up with a brilliant idea. The problem is that Dwight's mafia connection don't sit well with his father. As if that weren't horrible enough, an article about Chinese organized crime invading the US marijuana business appears in the paper. Chicky calls Goody that evening, alerting her about the impending major altercation. Chicky suggests that Goody should eliminate Dwight and assume control of Tulsa, but in Kansas he will be answering to Chicky and their new friends Bevilacqua and Thrasher.
Or you're gonna be
Tulsa.
exactly.
Bodie, nobody
How
like.
people really get hurt.
I got a bit.
The only witness, agent, stays not guilty.
Okay. Not guilty. There's one person on that jury to see things. Yeah.
Bevilacqua was gonna come and see.
Dumbass joke.
With your degenerate friends here, Armand. Your own family.
Dwight Manfredi practices his defense remarks at the start of his trial. In order to prove that the defendant bought off an agent, Dylan interrogates the local ATF chief upon his return to the courtroom. In order to demonstrate his innocence of bribery, Dwight then calls Stacy to testify. To make a point, Dwight asks Stacy if there is a law that prohibits someone from gifting a gift to someone who saved them from death. The former mafia couple is found not guilty of paying an ATF agent after the jury deliberates. Carl Thrasher is enraged by the not guilty decision and wants to see Dwight imprisoned again. Margaret Devereaux rejects Thrasher, who takes Dwight's presence in Tulsa. She says she thinks the condemned murderer is more sophisticated than the businessman when he visits the Fenario ranch. In order to deal with the rejection, Thrasher meets Armand, who is having difficulty with his divorce. He is not in the finest financial situation because he has to pay Clara a large sum of child support. In exchange for nothing specific, the businessman provides Armand $30,000 and says he hopes to get the latter's assistance in the future. Afterwards, the stableman shows that he has accepted Thrasher's money by giving Dwight $10,000. Following Dwight's acquisition of a property for Tina and her kids to relocate to Tulsa, she and her aunt Joanne Manfredi becomes an integral part of her father's life. The former mafia couple's non-guilty conviction and legal success are celebrated by the family with a rockstar presentation by Mitch Keller. Mitch greets the former mafia boss with kindness and compassion upon his arrival in Tulsa, expecting nothing in return. When he battles Cowlan, Waltrip, and the Black Macadams, the ex-convict has his back. Dwight might have been killed by the biker gang if it weren't for the musician. Mitch gives Dwight access to countless opportunities when he chooses to build his company in Tulsa by partnering with Brad Tupac. Additionally, they intend to purchase Donnie Store's auto business, demonstrating how their relationship is just growing stronger every day. Bevilacqua shows up in Tulsa to bargain with Dwight after meeting Chicky. Goody is informed by Chicky that Caputo is coming back to kill Dwight. The current Inverness family leader wants his former colleague to assist Bevilacqua's man in carrying out the murder. Caputo arrives as the former mafia couple and Margaret celebrates his non-guilty verdict. Bigfoot grabs his victim before he can fire and Goody kills him. Goody tells Dwight about the possible murder attempt after he learns the plan, and Dwight puts Bigfoot nearby to neutralize the threat. He asks Tyson not to go with him because he is aware of what he is entering into. To make it clear that Dwight is the one sending the message, Tyson goes with Goody and Bigfoot to deliver Caputo's lifeless body to Bevilacqua along with a bag of short ribs.
Crime to do something.
Jake, just get Dwight outside.
This feels like the old days. If you have a problem, everybody around you. So.
Right. And once that's done, it's like it's saying thank you. Is that what you calling it?
In case I'm not the loser of lunch.
Lesson's over.
All right. What do you mean it didn't happen? He killed.
Tyson assists Mark, his father, in fixing his old van. Mark declines Tyson's offer to give his father money so he can get a new van. Prior to his grandchildren's first day of school, Dwight teaches them how to punch. Dwight cautions them against ratting. Mitch Keller later tells Dwight that he will never change because he is constantly seeking the rush that comes with leading a criminal life. When Dwight gets to the even higher plane, he closes the door right away, making the patrons depart. Dwight warns Bobby that they may face difficulties following the murder of Carlo and that they may all be in danger. Tyson chases an enraged Bobby as he walks out. Bobby clarifies that he didn't sign up for any of this and that all he wanted was for Dwight to assist him in doing white-collar crime rather than murder. Since Caputo had failed to kill Dwight in the last episode, Chicky was clearly upset. Bill called Chicky and informed him that he had failed him. Caputo, Bill's right-hand guy, had passed away and the godfather of Kansas City was not going to stand by and do nothing. Given that Dwight had survived and Caputo had failed to murder him, Thresher was also frustrated. Thresher had no intention of breaking the law. Being a Chinese immigrant, Jackie was not going to give him over to Thresher so quickly. When Dwight visited Bobby's shop, he urged him to go with him to Galena, where he intended to purchase land and establish a hydroponic cannabis farm. Dwight struck a contract with Mad Hat and his son Ahanu, who informed him that the previous bidder was completely unprepared to engage in any kind of negotiation. Dwight was actually pursuing his goal to start a hydroponic farm, but he also had other obligations. Carl orders Jackie, a stakeholder in his marijuana farm, to cease cultivating and distributing heroin on his property at the conclusion of episode 4. Later, much to Jackie's dismay, Carl demands 50% of any heroin Jackie has sold thus far. After being caught pillaging, the two meet two Chinese immigrants who have been trafficked and made to live on the farm. Carl merely wants to strike them to send a message to the other workers who are trafficking. Jackie, however, shoots them both in the head. Carl is then informed by Jackie that this is what he does to those who steal money from him.
Business investment.
In exchange for
Got a deal. Yeah, it's really nice drive.
To be in your best behavior today, promise?
All right, this gentleman here,
You know, my hair was getting kind of... How do you know who wins if you don't keep score?
I'd love to show you. This way.
Here's Dr. Fogel.
We adhere to the rulers.
Take a hit.
And might stop by the shop later.
Well, somehow I never took you for a country.
You got 37 other Annies.
In the opening scene of the 5th episode, Tina is anxious and wants to leave a positive impression on the children as they perform at the nearby school. Dwight is also present, but Bigfoot's appearance has the teacher a little uneasy. Bodhi and Jimmy are heading to inspect the wind farm and make sure the repairs are still proceeding as planned. Bodhi connects with one of the locals upon his arrival because they both adore cannabis candy. Vince and Chicky are having problems once again since the former thinks they should meet with Dwight to try to resolve his difficult situation. However, Chicky is more inclined to initiate a conflict. Chicky gathers the soldiers and gets ready to go when he sees a chance to accomplish two goals at once. Bevilacqua is then informed of the plot by Vince and Chicky. Goody later informs Dwight's group that Atlanta is the meeting location. Dwight talks to Margaret about Thresher up at the ranch after rallying the troops to organize their various companies. She notes that he is obsessed and cautions Dwight not to get involved with him since he is bad news. The men are pulled from field duty by Thresher, who then gets them ready to battle. Soon after, they arrive at the wind farm and begin demolishing it. Buddy watches helplessly as these people ruin the electrics while spotting a bloody nose. He doesn't seem good and the fans stop spinning. Fortunately, Dwight and the others arrive on schedule and quickly dispatch them. Dwight plans his next move after learning that Thresher sent them and seeing the boys disappear. Thresher determines they should collaborate after calling Bevilacqua, but Bevilacqua declines. When Dwight and Margaret go out that evening, Thresher tries to ruin things by offering to offer the cost of their beverages. As the episode draws to a close, Dwight stacks up the bill himself.
Pretty brutal message.
Mr.
Wait, these guys show.
Where did you hear that term? Who?
Her having a gun?
Yeah.
Well,
Morning.
I tried again. Plumbing jobs today. I know you ain't naked. Turn their head all the way
Thanks,
around.
Tracy.
See every.
The trimmers aren't supervised.
We're making a ton.
It's crazy.
Dwight informs Tina and Joanne at the beginning of episode 6 that he is traveling to Atlanta to resolve a problem. When Tina finds out that Dwight will be meeting with Bill and New York, he is taken aback. Tina makes it clear that she wants a gun. Mitch is asked by Dwayne to teach her how to fire a rifle, and he shows her how to handle the firearm safely by taking her to a range. Manny goes to see Carl. Although he is grateful for the $50,000 Carl has given him thus far, Manny claims that Carl is endangering him by utilizing the information he has given him to harm Dwight and his team. Carl calls Manny foolish and a child because he is unaware of the repercussions of his behavior. Manny claims that because Dwight is too hazardous, he no longer wants to assist Carl. Carl, however, has some issues of his own. Jackie is enraged with Carl after witnessing how Dwight and his group defeated his guards. Jackie claims that Carl is costing them money due to the medical bills and believes that having injured guards make them appear weak. Carl is reminded by Jackie that cultivating marijuana is their business, not resolving his trivial disputes. Later, Jackie instructs Carl to find a definitive solution to the Dwight dilemma, emphasizing that half measures are insufficient to overcome an adversary. Chicky forgets that he has a revolver holstered to his ankle during airport screening in New York. Chicky is taken into custody by airport security, allowing Vince to travel to Atlanta by himself. Dwight, Goody, Bill, and his right-hand guy are waiting for Chicky and Vince in a soul food restaurant in Atlanta, but when Vince shows up by himself, everyone is taken aback. He clarifies that Chicky was arrested at the airport in LaGuardia. Vince advises Dwight to include Bill in his cannabis enterprise. Dwight offers 15% of the top of the cannabis business. Bill and Dwight shake hands on the agreement and they leave when Vince inquires about what New York receives. Bill regrets giving in to Dwight and the agreement he made when he returned to Kansas City. He believes that he has been duped. Dwight and his groups are worried about reprisals following the altercation with Carl and Jackie's gang. Baldy shuts the shop early. Tyson is cautioned by Dwight to remain vigilant at all times. Tyson even notices a car that has been pursuing him. Mark is driven to his plumbing duties by Tyson. Tyson is shocked to see that Mark is paid with chili instead of currency at the first residence. Tyson calls Dwight after a worn-out Mark quits his last job. Tyson wishes to purchase Dwight's vehicle and present it to his dad. Dwight concurs and Mark is overjoyed. An intense embrace between a father and son. However, the car explodes in front of Tyson the following morning when Mark tries to start it.
As long as I...
What is going on in Atlanta?
And Freddie thinks he can do whatever. I'm about to navigate.
Okay.
Anybody need it?
Possibly less.
So just like that.
Oh, it's not even...
About the explosion.
I don't know, it just all happened. My pops is nearly...
Sign up for this.
Assuming you've heard about your car by now.
What do you have in mind?
I don't give a shit.
What is the guy? Vic,
Life support. The 7th episode chronicles Dwight's search for the person who concealed the bomb in his navigator. He contacts all 3 of his adversaries as a result of the investigation. The truth about the bombing is finally exposed, despite their denial of any roles in the disaster. A doctor informs Tyson and his family at the start of life support that Mark had survived the explosion. The situation is reduced to a near-death scenario because the plumber did not enter the damaged car at all. Tyson's mother requests that Dwight leave after meeting the family at the hospital. The driver of the former mafia couple is adamant about getting revenge on Bill because he thinks the Kansas City mobster is responsible for the assault. When Dwight initially telephones Chicky, he says he has nothing to do with the situation. The mafia boss in New York City claims that if he wanted the former couple dead, he would put 2 bullets in his skull. After that, he contacts Bevilacqua, who pursues Chicky and makes it clear that he is unrelated to the attempted murder. Dwight personally visits Thresher by disclosing that he had recognized the white automobile pursuing Tyson prior to the explosion. He frightens his opponent. The billionaire confronts his partner, Jackie, after denying owning such a car. Thresher is informed by the member of the Chinese triad that he is responsible for the explosion. He murders Han Jin, his associate, and discards the vehicle used to pursue Tyson in order to permanently disguise his role in the matter, since Dwight has already located the farm that registered the car through Paul, his former driving instructor. The precautionary measures proves to be too late. Dwight is attempting to establish a solid rapport with both his daughter Tina and Margaret Devereaux. He explains in the show that he can't resist the need to meet the Fenario ranch owner. His re-established relationship with his daughter and his relationship with his partner could be jeopardized by his possible involvement in an assassination plan. As a result, despite Vince's possible attempts to entice him into the plot, he is predicted to disregard his idea. Tyson loses faith in his boss when Dwight does nothing right away following the Navigator explosion. After seeing his father, he decides to take matter into his own hands and travels to Kansas City to murder Bill Vilacqua. Mark calls Dwight to stop his son, but Tyson probably kills one of the Kansas City-based gangsters' colleagues and leaves the scene. But after what Tyson accomplishes, Vilacqua might not put up with Dwight's encroaching on his domain. The former mafia couple cannot even protest about the gangsters' reprisals as it is now just. Vince and Bevilacqua could collaborate if the former mafia couple declines his offer. In order to take control of their respective territories, New York and Tulsa, the two might band together and attempt to assassinate Chicky and Dwight. The former mafia couple might need to use more money to reassure his Kansas City counterpart in order to prevent such a headache.
To kill you wasn't us.
What about something you want to tell me?
Better ways to handle things like You're supposed.
He doesn't get it.
Nope.
You're all right. He's young.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, we should have did it last night.
Keep it that way.
Of course not.
Well, then it was fucking man.
Is it him? What? Witness protection?
Really, it's so
You know
beautiful.
what? You have no one.
Maybe a little later. I need to talk. It's very important.
Beginning.
I'm sorry.
It's not going to be able to get fixed.
I was worried.
I'm just gonna go.
When Dwight understood that Tyson had caused irreversible harm, he had no choice but to confront the matter head-on. Bill had decided to speak up after learning that Vic Alioto had been shot at by Dwight's men. Bill was furious and wanted to murder Dwight. Dwight helped Tyson realize that he was a member of the family and that everyone would stick by and defend him even if he was mistaken. However, Dwight clarified that this did not imply that he would act independently and breach the chain of command. Tyson was a little taken aback by what Dwight had said. Dwight, meanwhile, went to tell Christina that he had to return to New York and leave Tulsa. Uncertain of their ability to defend their land, Dwight and his group prepared for the impending conflict. Vince has been in discussions with the leaders of the various mafia groups over the last few episodes. He proposed that Chicky be removed from his role as the syndicate's leader, and he had compelling grounds for doing so. Key among them being that everyone was inclined to support him. Vince and a few others reputable syndicate members ultimately made the decision to confront Chicky in episode 8. Chicky was undoubtedly aware that Vince would turn against him, but he didn't anticipate it happening so quickly. Chicky was informed that the syndicate had lost a lot of money as a result of his carelessness. People lost faith in Chicky as a leader since their revenues were at a record low, and he was informed that he had made some poor choices. Dwayne's presence made Chicky uneasy, so he dispatched him to Tulsa. The syndicate members informed Chicky that things would not have gone as they did if he hadn't exiled Dwayne. When his gang members shot Bobby and Jimmy, Bill Bevilacqua took the first casualties. Jimmy suffered serious injuries. In the meantime, Jackie threw Thresher out of his business as was expected. Armand was solely to blame for his terrible circumstances. He took some actions that have far-reaching effects in order to increasing short-term earnings. He had abused Dwayne's confidence by disclosing inappropriate information to Carl Thresher. Armand was aware that Dwayne would eventually learn the truth. Armand resembled that pawn that people exploited and then discarded. Armand chose to take a terrible action since he had no other option. He walked to Dwayne's cafe where Goody was, storing the money in the safe and counting it. At gunpoint, Armand took Dwayne's money and fled. Armand had made up his mind, but Goody informed him that he was signing his own death warrant.
I think you're not allowed to be back here. We leave in a sec.
That's very nice, Grace.
Wanted you to have it.
We have the Miley Warriors here.
No. Dwight.
Let's just see here, man. What are you talking about? Like, oh, don't even start that shit.
I'll kill you, seriously.
I find that prick. I'm gonna blow his brains out.
We'll get him.
He's a huge fucking earner. You cut some over what? Bullshit, misun.
Does come due.
That is not all.
The natives paid their respects to Jimmy, who was shot and killed outside the cannabis shop the previous episode at the beginning of Season 2's 9th episode.
Wanted you to have it.
Jimmy's mother is the first person in the community to seek retribution for Jimmy's passing. Given that they are now at war, Dwight assures them that this is undoubtedly happening. Dwight is offered the mercenaries' services in order to increase their numbers. Bodhi feels survivor's remorse and holds himself accountable for the events. It's obvious that there is a lot of guilt in the automobile, even though the others are eager to refute this way of thinking. Vince persuades Dwight to rejoin them in order to provide Chicky a route back. Vince hopes to regain control of Tulsa, and since Dwight despises him, he believes Chicky has a better chance of winning him over here. Bevilacqua, on the other hand, knows that this miscommunication is going to explode. Thresher wants to try to stop his first error before things get out of control and there is blood on the streets. Thresher visits Bevilacqua that evening. He has heard enough of Thresher's gaming and is aware that he is solely to blame because he made his own bed. Bevilacqua also threatens to shoot him in the head if he doesn't exercise caution. The best way to resolve this is to set up a meeting to address this miscommunication so that all of the animosity and rage may be directed against me instead of Bevilacqua. When Chicky tries to book a flight, he discovers that the TSA has blocked him, so he is unable to travel. In relation to that, Armand visits Jackie and informs him that Dwight is pursuing him. He gives him details about the ranch and how he can assist in guiding him to eliminate Margaret and Dwight in one swift move. Dwight and Bevilacqua are waiting at the ranch when Armand takes the others there that evening. Jackie's goons are quickly eliminated, but Jackie is kept alive for interrogation. Dwight determines it's time to complete this while Jackie is confined. He gives Tyson the axe that Jimmy's mother gave him and explains that it is justified. Jackie is dead after a single precise blow to the skull, plunging directly into the open grave. As it happens, Armand returns to Duane despite being aware of his liability.
It's fucking nerves.
Let's finish.
A pathetic piece of...
In reality, he intended Dwight to murder him, but Dwight used him as leverage to put things right. Well, Dwight returns home to visit Margaret. Chicky leaves for Tulsa to speak with him.
To put this to good use.
How do I get to him?
1,200 acres.
And negotiate.
That's what's get rid of. So don't threaten me with... Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The world, pal. This is...
Good, OG?
Yeah.
Crank it up, crank it up.
Wait, so the inmates have taken over.
Hope together we can move forward.
So what did New York have to say?
You said we were gonna talk. It's been a couple show.
Chicky Invernizzi travels from New York to welcome his former couple back to his house, but he is let down when he says no. Dwight Manfredi and Carl Thresher talk about the payoff for killing Jackie at the start of Reconstruction, the finale episode. The former mafia couple demands all of the former's assets, but the businessman is prepared to give a substantial gift. Bill Bevilacqua flies to Tulsa when the former mafia couple takes over as master of Thresher's estates, demanding half of what his counterpart has acquired from the tycoon. Particularly in light of Jimmy's passing, Dwight reminds Bevilacqua that his life is the greatest gift he can give. The gangster responds that since Thresher's assets wound up in his hands as a result of him, he deserves nothing considerable. Without saying anything more, the mafia couple urges Bevilacqua to go back to Kansas City and gives him 25%. Chicky is enraged by Dwight's reply since he has to convince the former to rejoin the New York Mafia in order to reclaim his leadership role. In order to meet Bevilacqua and come up with a scheme to kill the former mafia couple, he travels to Kansas City. Following the discussion, Chicky and Bill Bevilacqua decide to murder Dwight Manfredi and divide his Tulsa assets. But during the altercation, Bevilacqua kills Chicky rather than Dwight. To gain favor with the former mafia couple, the criminal from Kansas City betrays his comrade and spares the life of his opponent. Even though Chicky was at the top of Bevilacqua's list of unreliable associates, the guy who also killed his own father without hesitation cannot be trusted. Bevilacqua has enough experience to know who merits his trust. The FBI thoroughly investigates the former mafia couple's file while Dwight Manfredi rejoices at the growth of his commercial endeavors with his partners. The former mafia couple's sudden rise in popularity is enigmatic, and the mystery only grows after his highly covert arrest. He is then informed by an unidentified individual that Dwight will work for them. Although the FBI's sudden intervention may seem unexpected, it has been building for a while. The Bureau has been visible on multiple occasions, such as when Bill Bevilacqua chooses to assassinate Dwight following Tyson's near murder of his associate. The FBI has no need to be concerned about Dwight because his business endeavors are entirely lawful. With Bevilacqua, that isn't the case. The agency monitors the gangster instead of the former mafia couple because although the gangster's endeavors and initiatives have been mysterious, one thing is certain: they are not lawful. However, the agent's decision to rely on Dwight is explained by the difficulty of breaking into the gangster's enterprise. The FBI might not need much time to gather information to convince Dwight to assist them, given the resources at their disposal. The identity of the officials involved may be questioned in light of Dwight's enigmatic arrest, but the agents can't break his cover by making his arrest a spectacle in order to employ him as an informant. Bevilacqua might put up a wall between him and the former mafia capo as soon as he finds out that the FBI has targeted him. This would undermine the Bureau's goal and explain why the investigators must catch the former mafia boss in extreme secrecy. In conclusion, the third season of Tulsa King is now playing on Paramount Plus. We look forward to see the relationship between Bill Bevilacqua, the former mafia capo, and the FBI. With that said, Tulsa King Season 2's 10 episodes are currently available for exclusive viewing on Paramount Plus. If you liked this video, make sure to check out the OK TV Today YouTube channel where we have hundreds of videos like this. If you want to see our newest episodes, make sure you subscribe to get notification. I'm Alex, signing out.
Wise guy.
Definitively. What a...
Yeah!